Shalom, giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makak, the bonders and to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, who's pushing this word in all sincerity and all truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And, yeah, this is some quick, lockdown news, I guess I'll call this. And, when you see things happening in certain parts of the world, you better believe it's going to be happening here. And for all these people that saying, well, whoever it is that say Jacob's Trouble is gay and all that, okay, all right, because things is about to get real out here real soon. So I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna get a few quick scriptures and close it out.
Coronavirus has turned the land down under upside down. Australia used to be known for its fierce individualism and defense of personal freedoms. Well, now, lockdowns, intense tracking of citizens have people claiming the country has turned into a police state. All this when fewer than 1,200 residents have died from COVID in a nation of 25 million. Dale Hurd has the story.
In a now viral tweet, an Australian posted what they said is a view of the world's largest prison from space. A map of Australia. Australia is still a democracy, but its COVID restrictions are severe. It's hard to enter or leave the country unless you're a politician or a celebrity. Citizens are tracked with apps and soon by facial recognition. In some states, you have to have your phone scanned before entering a church. And some have been arrested for simply posting on social media about protest against COVID restrictions. The rest of the world is starting to ask if Australia can still be called a free country. Australia's lockdown has been so draconian, it's brought comparisons on social media to how Australia began, as a prison colony. This pregnant Australian mother was handcuffed and hauled away by cops in front of her children for simply posting on Facebook about a lockdown protest. The charge was incitement.
What on earth? Excuse me, what on earth?
Just put your phone down.
Can you record this? Like in my pajamas,
What's this?
An ultrasound in an hour?
Yeah, she's pregnant.
This leader of an anti-lockdown group, also arrested for incitement, has now been in jail for 3 weeks.
You're under arrest for incitement?
Have you guys been following me?
Police helicopters look for lockdown violators, like these folks trying to enjoy an evening on a rooftop. And the government has fired rubber bullets and tear gas at anti-lockdown protesters, including children. James Allen, Garrick Professor of Law at the University of Queensland, calls it heavy-handed despotism.
It's been appalling in Australia, and I say that as a big fan of Australia. I'm Canadian, you can tell from the accent. But it's come as a real shock to me how conservative friends are perfectly happy to go along with this.
Australia consists of 6 states and 2 territories, each with their own COVID restrictions. Under a new home quarantine plan for international travelers, if you don't send the government your photo and location when it sends you a text, the police will come to your door. Melbourne pastor Paul Furlong has been arrested 3 times and placed in solitary confinement for opening his church during the lockdowns.
The reason I did was for what I believe was a greater law, and that was to obey the word of God. And so I had to choose God's law over man's law.
This church in Sydney, shown before the lockdown, was raided and fined for holding what authorities called an illegal service, and for not scanning people's phones before they entered. Some pastors are now concerned that the government could require a vaccine passport before entering a church. We asked Evan Mulholland at Australia's conservative think tank, the Institute of Public Affairs, if he still considers Australia a free country.
Well, it's a good question. It's a question a lot of people across the political spectrum have been asking. These things don't happen in a vacuum. They happen when the political and cultural elites slowly take away our freedoms and they become normalized.
Australians have also begun turning in one another to authorities, East German style. In In this tweet, an Australian mother was desperate to find a way home with her son and needed to cross a state border, violating lockdown restrictions. She was turned in to police. With this kind of behavior, you might think many thousands of Australians have died from COVID, but the death toll is under 1,200 out of a nation of 25 million people, or 0.0047% of the population. Almost 3 times that many Australians die every week from normal causes. But one poll showed most Australians favor living without freedom because they fear COVID more than any other Western nation.
The media has just scared people senseless. The average person thinks, if I catch this, I'm going to die.
There have been several large and sometimes violent demonstrations against the lockdowns and against planned vaccine passports, and hundreds have been arrested. The government says the death toll would have been much worse without lockdowns, and is saying now that life can only return to normal when most of the country is vaccinated.
They describe giving back our freedoms as some sort of a treat, as some sort of a reward, something that can be given back to us and aren't our fundamental freedoms that were stolen from us in the first place.
The Australian journalist Clive James once said the problem with Australians is not that so many of them are descended from convicts, but that so many are descended from prison officers. It's a quote that's being talked about a lot these days. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Now, don't think this can't cross an ocean and come to us. The panic, if you will, over COVID-19 is certainly spreading. It definitely spread to New Zealand, where someone was arrested literally for having KFC in the trunk of their car.
All right. Did you hear that right? Did you hear that, pretty much, matter of fact, I wasn't even going to go to it. Did you hear that, they're turning other people in? And, I think I was just reading this earlier, if I can find it. All right. Because that's what's going to happen. People are going to be turning each other in, and you're not going to be able to trust nobody, you know. This is Jeremiah 9, starting at 4. Take ye heed, every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother. For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. And they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and wear themselves to commit iniquity. But you're not going to be able to trust nobody when that time comes, and you're really going to have to walk in wisdom. And during that time, I guarantee you there probably will be a famine of the word. I'm going to just get this one last precept. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Rejoice therefore, ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he know that he hath but a short time. And if you see that going on over there, and they doing it amongst their own people, how much more Jacob, you know, Jacob's trouble is going to really be intense. All right. So all that saying that Jacob's trouble is gay and all that, this stuff is happening right now. You know, it said roughly paraphrasing, the vision speaks for an appointed time. You know, and it's happening. It's going down. Right in front of your face, you're getting a preview. And let's go and look up this word real quick. It's coming down with great wrath, passion, angry heat, anger, boiling up soon, subsiding again. All right, glow, ardor, the wine of passion, and flaming wine, which either drives the drinker mad or kills him with its strength, okay? And flaming wine. And when you pursuing back to Lamentations 4, I think Lamentations 4 and 5, it says the cup shall pass to thee, O Edom. It's 4 and 5, either one. It shall pass to thee. That cup of wrath, that cup of, as I say in Strong's definition, indignation. All right, you see that they can't keep it together to sacrifice. All right, and that's what he's going to do. It's going to be a great sacrifice in Bozrah, and a lot of this stuff is starting now. It's happening. Wars everywhere, insurrections. All right, and it's only going to increase as time goes on. This is Psalms 96:11. Let the heavens rejoice and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar in the fullness thereof. Let the field be joyful and all that therein. Then shall all the trees in the wood rejoice before the Lord. For he cometh to judge the earth. He will judge the world with righteousness and the people with his truth. All right. So he's judging the world right now. Right? And we're just watching the beginning of it. So, like that man said, don't think that can't come over here. And you got a lot of people in a sleep mode, which is 2/3, and a lot of these heathens is going to catch them unawares. But when we see these things happening, those who've been in this truth, the elect, hopeful elect, we know why these things are happening. People are already seeking answers now, and this ain't even come here yet. So I just wanted to bring that quick information out, and I would like to say shalom.